Hello everyone, welcome back to the video series of Object Oriented Programming with Java. Our today's topic for this particular video, that is Java programming using multithreading. I am an instructor Mr. Ankit Patel. So let's start the different program of the multithreading. Now in this session I will show you the different example of the multithreading. So let's discuss the first program, that is write a complete multi-threaded program to meet the following requirement. Read the matrix A, that is a m cross n matrix is there. Create a m number of thread, that is whatever the number of row in your array, that number of thread we need to just create. Each thread compute the summation of the element of the one row. That means the task of the thread 1 just calculate the sum of the first row, then second thread have the chance to calculate the sum of the second row element. For example, that's the tell in the question, if that is ith row of the matrix is processed by the ith thread, where the I that is between 0 to m, and print the result. So here we just want to print this sum of, suppose the 3 cross 3 the matrix is there. So the first thread have the task to print the sum of the first row, second thread have a chance to print the sum of the second row, and the third thread have the chance to print the sum of the third row. So we need to just print the sum of the first row, sum of the second row, sum of the third row, whatever the size of your matrix. So for that I am just using a class, that is a demo, that extend the thread. I am using a static variable a and static variable m and n. Why I am using a array as a static? Because I have just passed all the value in the command line argument. I will show you first of all the main. So I am not using command line, I am using the scanner class. But in a scanner class you require to import a one package, that is import a java.util package. That's why I am importing. I will show you first of all the main code, that what is our requirement. So scanner I just want to print the size of the m. What is the size of your row? That is next size of the n. Enter the value of n, that is m cross n. Suppose if you are entering a 3 cross 3 matrix, then I am initializing the array dynamically, like whatever the size of m. Here the a array is not the our specific class variable. It is a part of the demo. That's why I am creating this variable as a static. So in a static, this will create as a share variable. Now after that I am just initialize the array using the sc.next, that is the demo of a of 0 0, that is equals to sc.next int, then a of 0 1. Each and every time we need to just enter the different value of the matrix. So now next we are just initializing the initiate the number, how many number of thread you want to just create. I am just creating the array of this thread class. Then d dot m, how many number of thread is created, d dot m, the di dot is equals to new demo of I. So I am just passing the value of I in the argument. Why? Because the first 0th number row have calculated the 0th number thread have calculated the addition of the 0 row, and same as I am just calling the first thread. I will show you first of all output, then I will explain you in detail this particular program. Javac th5.java and Java th5. Here I am just entering, normally I am just entering a 2 cross 2 matrix. So here total number of row and total number of column is 2. Now here we need to just pass the first row element, that is a 1 and 2. Then second row element I am passing a 3 and 4. So you can see here the first row element, that is a 1 2, the addition of the first row, that is equals to 3, the addition of the second row, that is equals to 7. The output will be printed like this: sum of 0 row, that is equals to 3, and sum of for row number 1, that is equals to 7. So we required that type of output. So this is the functionality of thread 1 and this is the functionality of thread 2. So how many number of the thread is created? Whatever the size of your m. right. Suppose if you are passing the size of the array m 3 and a total number of column is 2, So here I am passing the first row, then second row, then third row. So first row addition is equals to 3 because 1 plus 2 3, second row addition is 7 and third row addition is 11. You can see 3, 7 and 11. So that is our requirement. So how to get this particular code? So I am just using this variable a array and mn value as a static just because I am passing this value in a using array. Then demo, here I am using a parameterized constructor in x, that is the value of our row number, that is our thread number. Now in a run method I have used just for loop I is equals to 0, I is less than m, that is how many number of row is there. If t is equals to I, that means if the, because here the 3 thread is there, a 2 thread or 3 thread is there, and each and every thread are calling the at the parallelly run method. So we don't know that which thread call the first time. So here I am just using a that's coding t is equals to I, then for I is equals to 0, I is less than, total number of column is there and we are just adding the sum is equal to sum plus t of I. That is, if your the thread 2 is calling, that it will add it the sum 2 0 2 1 2 2 if the 3 column is there. And finally I am just printing the output of the row of t is equals to sum. Main I have already explained, right? So hope you understand this particular code. Let's run it again so you can easily understand. Here I am passing a 3 cross 3 array. The first row element, that is a 1 1 1, second row element, that is a 2 2 2, and third row element, that is a 3 3 3, because each row have the 3 column. So output is 3, then 6, then 9. You can see 3 6 and 9, right? My next program, that is using the producer consumer problem, and this is used method called as an synchronized method, because you can first write a multi-threaded program to have a 2 producer thread and each write a push the total 7 integer into the same common stack. So here the producer consumer problem that you have already known in the operating system. What is a producer consumer problem? Here the one producer is there and one consumer is there. Producer task is to produce the item and consumer task is to consume the item. Now here producer have one buffer, consumer have one buffer. Producer wants, they have share the common buffer. If producer just produce one item, then consumer wake up and they consume that particular item. Now here if both the thread call the parallelly a share buffer, that might be chance to both the thread producer and consumer will go into the sleep state. That is our producer consumer problem. So we are solving this producer consumer problem using this synchronized or using this thread. So I have just created a class that is a prawns crons, and this is a act as a synchronized, this is act as a critical region. So now first you understand the thing that for explaining this particular program, for better understanding this particular program, just refer my the last video, that is just refer my the video of the multi-threaded or the synchronized method and synchronized block video. So you can easily understand how to use the synchronize in your program, how to create the synchronize, what is the benefit of the synchronize. Here I am just using a mark variable as a false. I am just creating the array as a 7 because we need to just create the total 7 integer. Then the producer enter into the sleep state for the 500 millisecond after the waiting every item. There is one consumer thread read the pop of the stack. Consumer means it, we are just calling the pop function, and enter into the sleep state after the 600 millisecond. Assume the stack size is 10. Incorporate all the required condition of all the valid item, that is pop only once, and there are the no stack overflow and underflow, right? So here because I am using a synchronize, no, there is no chance of parallelly both the thread calling the run method or calling the same method. That's why I am using the synchronize method. So now in synchronization I am just calling this specifically. If the mark is alerted, then we need to just wait, and this is a simple algorithm for the producer consumer problem. So I will show you first of all what is the function of the producer. So here I am just using the producer. Just for I is equals to 0, I is less than or equals to 7, I plus plus, just pc dot produce, pc that is the object of the producer consumer. So now in producer consumer program, I have just, if the first producer is called, the mark value is now mark value is not enabled, that means we have not set the mark value. So he need to just wait until the buffer is, suppose the consumer is called. Now the data of top, that is equals to n, right? If the producer is calling, there is a no mark value, then if it is 0, that this will not enter into the if condition, then the data of top is equals to n, then a is equals to top, then top plus plus. This is just pushing the value onto the stack, and the put, that is the data of a, whatever the you have entered into the put, and mark value is equals to true, and notify. The notify means there is a combination of wait and notify. If you are wait, what is the difference between wait and sleep? In a sleep, after the some amount of time, it will automatically wake up. But if you are waiting that particular thread, it will not automatically wake up. We need to notify the particular thread. So here I am using the notify for the consumer. If the consumer is not marked, then it is will wait, and the consumer task is to pop the element of the stack, that is a top minus minus is there, and I am just using a put and got. Got means the consumer is called, and put means producer is called, and mark is equals to false, and notify the, if consumer just remove the first one item from the buffer, then consumer have chance, producer have a chance to produce the item. Now next the producer consumer, next the consumer task is to consume the data. So consumer call the consume method, and producer will call the produce method. Now in a main, we are just simply just creating the producer consumer main class object, and I am passing this object as a constructor, because we need to just create the concept of the critical section. We are just creating critical section, no two threads simultaneously calling the run method. So suppose the producer is called first time, producer completed task, after that the consumer will wake up. Now let's just run this code, then I will show you the output. Java C th6.java and Java th6. You can see this will put what producer put is, suppose producer produce a single item, then it will notify the consumer, then it will got that particular item. If the producer produce the item, the got is, so the printed output is something like producer, then it will call the consumer, producer consumer, producer consumer. There is a no, I am using the multi-threaded, both the thread not calling the simultaneous runtime. If the both the thread simultaneously calling the runtime, there may be a chance of output not in this particular form, right? So hope you understand this particular program. Here I have solved this program using the producer consumer problem using the synchronized method. So once again, if you have if you don't have any idea about the synchronized method or block, just refer my the theoretical section of the synchronized method and block. So hope you understand this particular program. So that's it from the programming. So thank you very much. If you have any doubt, you can feel free to ask me. Thank you very much.